Welcome back to another awesome, exciting, entertaining episode of the Women Unleashed podcast. It's Britt, your co host, and I'm here with Taylor as we are every fortnight. And this week, we're going to talk about feminism. And I said to Taylor, we need to talk about this topic because at the point that I brought it up with you, Taylor, I was like, fuck feminism. Like, it's really fucked me. And I know it's just myself, like, fucking myself. But it just, what I want to talk about is how I think either it's the person who's listened to the information about feminism or it's feminism itself and it's gone too far around women being like super independent and like I don't need no man and like and quite masculine. Not saying that women can't be in their masculine, but because I certainly was one of those people and got brought up with significant females around me that were like,
Same.
I'm an independent woman and I don't need no man. And
Yeah.
like, I listened to that and was a bit sad, but I was like, well, it's coming from a woman that I trust and admire, so I'm gonna listen to her. But deep down, I was like, but I want a man in my life, and I just didn't know that I needed to be true to myself and also get interested in like what it takes to have a man in your life. Like how are you going to behave to have a man in your life and have a marriage and babies and all that kind of stuff, because being the independent woman, I think, is really dominating. And I don't think men really like that.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like my experience of it and the way it's gone to. It's like there's hating on men. And I do think that brings equality. Like I think we're trying to create like
that's not feminism. That's hating men. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's like, the other side of that coin of like women's rights and stuff and feminism. And I don't know a lot about it, but I do feel like sometimes it just goes to that extreme level of like men ain't shit and we like fuck men and all that. And that doesn't work because, well, it just like they're the other gender in our life. Like they're whether you're sexually into them or you have them as friends or you work, like men are everywhere, you know. You have to deal with them in some capacity. So hating on them, just, well, it doesn't do anything. I think it just makes more problems.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just makes you like, so for me, really disrespectful of men, dismissive, belittling them by thinking that I'm like superior or deserve something or that I'm owed something by men. I think I got brought up with like this, I'm owed something.
Yeah, I see that too. And I feel like there's like no, I fucking lost it. It was like, well, I think it makes you that's what it was, distrusting of men. That way of being. I think it makes you not trust them because you're like, well, then you can't like look up, like, what are you going to bring to the table? Like, I can't trust that you can do anything, you know, or what you can offer me. I don't know. I think it creates a bit of that too. Like, not needing a man makes you kind of not trust the idea of having a man.
Yep. Yeah. So you've always got like a foot out the door or a plan B, which is a terrible way to try and have a relationship. I tried that. It didn't work very well.
No, it doesn't work very well.
It doesn't not work. And for a successful relationship, an enjoyable one, I think you do need to give yourself and trust a man. You have to give yourself to them, like emotionally, and being vulnerable with them. And you can't do that if you're like, I'm an independent woman.
Yeah, yeah,
I just don't
I
think it's gonna.
agree. And allow them to also be that way. You know,
Yes.
I think there's like, oh, you need to be like a man's man. You can't have feelings. And like, there's a bit of that too. And that probably comes from men as well. Like, you know, don't have the emotions, don't have all that stuff. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really work.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
create a successful relationship. What do you think about like roles?
Roles in relationships.
Yeah,
What do you
like
mean?
back in, like, okay, back in probably like our grandparents' age, even like my mum was probably the one that they saw like a lot of the change with women working more and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, my grandparents' age, in majority of relationships, the man worked, the woman stayed at home. Like, what do you think about all that? Those sorts of roles where men do
Oh
go out and
yeah.
are the breadwinners and females are the homemakers, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the way that we've changed that women now have careers and some of them are the breadwinners in some relationships,
Yes.
some might earn more than their male counterpart, or they
Mm.
might own it, whatever it is, like whatever.
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
do you think it has
Yeah.
shifted what,
So
you know?
I was listening to I think it's Margarita Nazarenko's book, like the new rules for being her, and she's got a podcast called Being Her. It's amazing,
Yeah, okay.
and she talked about this as well, like the traditional roles
Mm.
of the 50s, which the housewife and the man, and she's like, that's not being feminine either. Like being a housewife.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
was
okay.
like, wow, that's new for
Yeah,
me
that's
because, like, denying your own needs to serve somebody else is not serving of yourself. So that's not really giving of yourself. So you can't give to other people.
yeah. Yeah, okay. So not being in like the energy that lights you up doesn't allow you to be kind of.
Yeah. So she really talks about like being in your feminine is listening to what it is that you want to do with your life.
Mm.
Like what brings you joy.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about like the traditional, you know, that was just a question that kind of came up because I think it's something to look at, you know, does it shift the dynamics when someone, you know, does a man feel less than if he's earning less? I don't
And
know.
I don't know. I think it's really individual. I've just got to say, I'm feeling really like weird right now. Like I could rush to the bathroom at any point and throw up.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just come over me, and like it kind of comes in a wave and then it goes again. So if I just run, you just know where I am. Okay.
Oh God, do you think it's this conversation?
No, I had dinner and I was already a bit like, oh, I didn't feel satisfied by that. There's something weird in my like
Oh, okay.
stomach, but now
Mm,
it's like feels like it's moving up my chest. Um,
right.
I think if it brings you joy to operate like that in a relationship and you both agree that that's what you want, like, and you've found that man that wants that thing
Yep.
and you're both freely choosing it, then that's great. But
Yeah, I agree.
when, uh, and like a demanding independent woman comes in and it's like, right, this is how it's got to be. And I'm going to choose you. You're going to fit into this box.
Mm.
Like, the man, I don't know why he says yes, because she's probably like really beautiful. And he's like, oh, I can put up with her shit because she's really beautiful. But far out, like, that is so depressing to live
Mm.
like that, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think the like finding your joy is probably the maybe the best way we've come up with today to explain what we experience being in your feminine is, right? It's finding
And
that joy.
yes, and I think feminism is advocating for the opportunity for women to do what brings them joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So if it is flying a plane, great. Let's make that happen.
Yes, yes. I agree. If it's being a homemaker, do that. If it's
Ex-
working full time, do that. Like whatever it is. I agree.
Correct.
I
Yep.
agree. I think that's a really good way to explain it.
And
Yeah.
I, it's because I've really steered away from the conversation my whole life, but now I am a member of Zonta International, which advocates for the advancement of women and girls around the world. I've been learning a lot more about like the conversation of what is feminism, what isn't,
Mm.
and the issues that they deal with. So I'm getting a much better understanding
Yeah, that's
of that
awesome.
entire world. So yeah, but I just feel like I grew up around a lot of dominant women, related or not, and so fuck, like I have just it made a lot of sense to me as to why I went into the energy industry because it was surrounded by men and I was
Mm.
really comfortable being in my masculine sort of energy operating mode. But sorry, you're about to ask a question.
No, you go. You go.
The
I'll
screen froze. Um, but now I can see the flaws of operating that way. Like I'm not achieving other things in my life. Am There's no other option for me than to soften. And it's only when I start softening that I see where all the hardness is in the rigidity and the dominance. And I've grew up thinking that that's just how I needed to operate in the world.
Mm.
But it's actually not. And I'm discovering a new way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
awesome.
mm,
Actually awesome. Yeah. See, I think it was different for me the way it impacted me because like I very similar like a lot of really strong opinionated don't like women in my family.
mm.
It's not a lot of men, there's a lot of women. And where I think in some cases it led me to not trust men and not rely on men in a different way.
Yes.
So I didn't
Yeah.
feel comfortable with them. I didn't, opposite to, even though I went into I went into mortgage, like finance, which is, well, definitely was, it still is more male dominated technically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, definitely wasn't more comfortable with men than women. Definitely wasn't
Interesting.
there for me.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
imagine
kind
trying
of.
to have a relationship with someone and protecting yourself from them the whole time.
Yeah, I've done that. So,
It'd be fucking exhausting for both of you.
yeah, it is.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. I just
So,
try to
yeah,
hide.
pardon?
I'm just hiding.
Hiding.
Yeah, I think you kind of hide when you don't trust someone to be yourself, to
Yes.
give you
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. So, yeah, I just think that, like, before you call yourself a feminist or want to be, I don't know, just like think about what we've said here, which is that it's just about having the opportunity to do whatever it is that brings you joy. That's what feminism, I believe, is. Fighting for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Um, to have the choice and down to really basic things, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, rather than being very masculine. It's
Mm.
funny because you end up being very masculine even though you say you're a feminist. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the way you have to be to like prove the point of feminism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. I think we should leave it at that. That's a really good note.
Super. Done.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I know that we did. And I guess the takeaway is to what brings you joy. Find your joy, you know? Look at it for yourself, even if it's some one thing a day that you do. Or maybe you need to make a drastic change, you know? I don't know. But thank you. We love you all. Make sure to check out our socials. We're on basically everything. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.